Hi, and welcome to Lithuania Goes AI, a series of virtual events about the Lithuanian AI ecosystem and the current innovations of AI. Today, we are having the second event out of 5, and the topic is creative industries. So, Lithuania Goes AI, creative industries. For a long time, creative industries, and by that I mean businesses based on creativity, were considered to be mostly a human domain, but now AI technologies, and just to mention a few, machine learning, convolutional neural networks, deep reinforcement learning, the methods of AI are transforming the fields of media, entertainment, arts, marketing, event organizing, and the whole event experience, gaming, design, collaborative work, and much more. So today we want to talk about what's in Lithuania. What does the AI ecosystem in creative industries looks like here, and what's new is happening here? What kind of creators do we have here? So in the series of these events, we are inviting businesses and startups from all around the world to learn about it from the insider's perspective. And the goal of this event is just to simply gather and show what we got here in Lithuania, what kind of creators do we have, and just to get acquainted with everyone and just to get a little bit of the vibe. How does it feel to be a part of this ecosystem? Today, we are going to have 4 presentations. Super excited to hear from those. A big shout out to Meta team for gathering really interesting speakers and presenters. Really looking forward today for the presentations. My name is, by the way, Lukas Karaitis. You might see me on Žinių Radijas, might hear me on Žinių Radijas. Dubitai is the show that I'm hosting, which is about new technologies. Also, Mokslo Sriuba. I'm a TV reporter at this popular science TV show and communicate about science and technology. And by the way, today I'm even more connected with the topic since my bachelor was creative industries. So I'm a Bachelor of Communication. I have studied creative industries, and at the moment I am working as a freelancer, definitely in the creative industries field. So even more interesting for me to talk with you today. So yeah, I guess most of you maybe been to some other events of Meta, to other Lithuania Goes AI events maybe, and know how everything goes. So no need to tell you again. We are going to have 4 presentations, and then after a discussion. This discussion is about the Lithuanian AI ecosystem in creative industries topic. What are we proud of? What are the challenges? What is the potential? This is something what we are going to talk. And of course, as always, I'm very much looking forward to hear from you. We have a comment section. I already said hi there. So hopefully you can see it. Daiva is saying hi. So I'm, as always, interested, and I guess the speakers are interested in what kind of people are here today. So just let us know in the chat, where are you from? Say hi, say something, how is your morning? Say, where are you from? Maybe from you're connecting from some other country than Lithuania, so say hi, or maybe you're representing a company, so you can write the name of the company in the chat. So as always, write all of your questions there. After every presentation, we have some time for questions and answers. So definitely I'm going to ask the questions, and don't be shy. The last time we had a lot of questions. It was a lot of fun. So let's continue with that. So that said, I think we can move on to the main part of our event, that is presentations. And the first presentation is going to be by Martynas Bogdanskis, business developer at Attention Insight. Attention Insight's AI automatically predicts changes in visual attention. I bet Martynas is going to talk more about that. So Martynas is going to talk about how AI helps to optimize designs, something that Attention Insight does. So still no hi in the chat. So everyone, and if you can hear me, if the stream is working, so say hi in the chat, so we don't feel lonely talking here. And Martynas, hi, I can see you, can I hear you? Martynas?
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can hear you now.
Amazing. So, hi, Lucas.
Yeah, so I guess off you go. We are very much interested in listening and watching what you have to tell us.
Amazing. Thanks, Lucas, for a great introduction. And hi, everyone. I'm Martinas, and I'm from Attention Insight. So basically, I'm very excited to be here because we have very exciting product. And what we do pre-launch analytics. Therefore, we predict future in a way, as I like to call it. So what essentially we do, we help optimize designs. And by saying designs, I mean all designs that goes like internal designs and external designs. So today we're living in a world where marketing is going at full speed, right? It's throwing it, full throttle ahead. Every day we see, ads for marketeers that we want marketing professionals. We ask about their experience. We ask what they can do, how they can help us. We ask them to know Photoshop or other platforms where they can create those digital assets or offline assets for us. Then we spend thousands and thousands, if not millions, on marketing budgets. And then after we hire those people, after we spend all of that money, only then we get some insights in how our campaign performed. And then if we made something bad, if we made a mistake, then we come back to the drawing board and then we create it again. And then we spend another bunch of money, another big bag of money into launching version 2 of our advertising campaign. So let's talk about Tropicana case. We all remember the numbers, right? 35 million spent on rebrand of Tropicana juice, the worst rebrand in history. What I guess you all remember the loss in the first 30 days, right? Over $20 million. The company who did the actual rebrand went bankrupt. People lost their jobs. And funny fact, it could have been saved in under 45 seconds. So essentially, could we have saved it? Yes. How fast? Literally in less than a minute. Just by looking at the rebrand and imagining people walking past your brand in the shops. They used to see Tropicana, now they see a white package with very little visible of a branding. So essentially, we're looking at the design, and this is what we do. Our AI helps to actually take a look and see how people are going to perceive, whether it would be a website, whether it would be a label, or in this case, packaging. And we could have said, like, this is going to be bad. People will not notice that on the shelves. They will miss it. They will not understand it's a Tropicana. And as you can see from over here, it's very, very simple and easy to test, and we can tell it right away that it's not a good idea. It's brilliant, it's innovative, but it will not work. Saying that, we are predictive analytics. Therefore, as I was saying, we ask for people to be actually able to work in Photoshop and Figma and Sketch, but we never actually ask how good their job is. We take their word for it, right? We take what we know about them, and we say, okay, they do a great job. They will do a great job for me. Or actually, it doesn't have to be like this anymore. With the help of AI and pre-launch analytics, we can actually tell you how consumers going to consume your website, your packaging, your labels, how they're going to, look at the billboards, whether your ad that you spent your money on a billboard that you buy, out of home or digital out of home for that matter, if they're going to reach your potential client or not. And we work everywhere. You can have predictive analytics in pretty much any place where you work, and you don't have to go live. So you check everything in a pre-launch stage, in an idea stage, in a design stage. So, but we're not talking about just the packaging or website. I mean, we're talking about making your ads stand out. So you test banners, labels, posters. you make sure that your ad would stand out. Me, I'm personally, I have a degree in psychology, and I know how quickly we make decisions. We make decisions in a split second, essentially 2.5 seconds. That's all we give to make a decision. So if you're scrolling and your post is or banner is shown for half of that time, and you have it's very busy, it's a lot, it's a lot going on in it, and people are not sure what they're seeing, they're going to skip it. So with the pre-launch analytics, you can make sure that that effort and money and time you spend into creating your digital assets, in creating your offline assets that will go outside, that go external from your company, would actually make an impact, would actually make sense to spend that money on it. For a long time, OOH and DOOH media where they had no option to analyze how much visibility the advertisement gets. And at this stage, we can, even before you buy, before you spend a tremendous amount of creating a banner that goes onto outdoor stand, we can tell you which one out of two is better. So A/B testing is like, I can do A/B testing in 4 to 5 seconds with the pre-launch analytics, with the artificial intelligence in place. It's easy, it's simple, it doesn't require real traffic to humans. Saying that, imagine that nowadays you can actually take a look and analyze your competition. You don't have to have access to their data. You don't have to have access to their analytics. You can go ahead and you can analyze your competition. You can make, can draw conclusions. You can talk with your team about, what they are doing, what we are not doing, or maybe what we are doing and they're not doing. So, pre-launch and analytics is used for creating high conversion rate websites, high conversion rate banners, marketing materials. We use it to make product performance better, and for user experience and user interface guys, they use it to make user-centric design. It is used to make sure that once a person goes into consumes your design, whatever it would be, they would know instantly what you want from them, how you where to find what they're looking for, and more importantly, that it's they will notice what you want them to notice. So my advice is use AI for your advantage. It's not there to replace you. It's actually there to make your job even better, to make you even better. So I know I talk a lot about attention insight and artificial intelligence, pre-launch analytics, and I want to talk a little bit about what's the difference and which one of those is pre-launch analytics, like which picture. And no matter which one you chose, there is none. All of those solutions are traditional eye tracking, whether it would be having a goggles on and driving your car around and checking your eyeball movement, or whether you're sitting in front of the computer with cameras around you and they checking your eye movement. It's a traditional, it's one way or another way of traditional eye tracking. What we do not require any integrations. We don't need any goggles. We do not need any cameras or any participants for that matter. We do predictive eye tracking. So it's a deep learning model that does that. And we've seen machine learning in the past and they were okay. We just do it now much, much better. Therefore, we have 94% of accuracy, at least we do. We used a ton of eye tracking studies, and our accuracy has been improved. And now we can say that if you do a traditional eye tracking, we reached that level with the AI and deep learning model. We reached that level where we say you don't have to spend 50,000 on the research and spend 5 months in gathering data. we can do that in under 4 to 5 seconds. So predictive eye tracking, just to kind of like sum it up, with predictive eye tracking, we don't need to collect any data. So in Europe, we care about it due to GDPR, right? We don't need any traffic. Therefore, you can A/B test your ideas, your wildest ideas, in flick of the fingers. We don't need any integrations. Therefore, once you go live, you can continuously test, and you can test your competitors without any integrations. Therefore, you know that your SEO ratings and the speed of loading your website is not reduced by that. AI doesn't have any biases. Therefore, if you have a bunch of people, they might have biases to one or another thing. AI doesn't have that. We provide data in less than 1 minute. Instead of taking weeks, months, if not years, into collecting data and having thousands of participants, we don't need that. we do that in less than a minute. And on top, instead of just having one task, with the predictive AI, all departments in the company can use that. So starting from very simple, like taking into example a company that does sodas, right? So we have packaging, we have labels, we have marketing departments, and usually Coca-Cola were big enough. They used to do eye tracking, and now everyone can do that. Everyone can be and can use the science behind it and numbers in their game before they go live, before they spend everything, like a ton of money on it. So at this stage, pre-launch analytics, AI enables pre-launch analytics, and it's like a Grammarly for your design, for any design they can think of. And moreover, artificial intelligence is like your attention insurance, making sure that what you do and where you put your money will get your biggest return on investment that you possibly can. So a few questions now, if anyone has it. Lucas, maybe you can read if there is any.
Yes, thank you, Martinas. First of all, thank you for presentation, attention, insight. I'm following the company for quite some time now. I guess 2 or 3 years already. So if anyone has any questions, just write those in the chat. I have a few questions for you. First of all, I think you said something quite controversial in your presentation, that AI doesn't have biases. I could imagine that the colleagues of yours who are connected here could maybe argue with you, as I could too, since the data comes from people who are biased. Doesn't the AI have bias too? Let's discuss it shortly.
That's a good question. It would if we would have used only one continent or one group of people. As I said, we used over 31,000 of different studies. Therefore, so essentially, you're not getting just Europe or US or Australia or any other part of the world. You get, the whole world. Like our content comes from different sources. So we've done research by ourselves. We bought from universities. We've done some. We took anything we could find, and this allows us to have a really wide spread between race, ethnicity, economic background, and way how people were raised. So
okay, so yeah,
so yes.
I want to go too deep to that. I'm not a computer scientist. Hopefully, maybe your colleagues who are representing today can reply to that later in their presentations. Just something that I thought of, just not to leave unmentioned, because there might be some people, and there are definitely some viewers who are very sensitive about these kind of statements. And we have some questions in the chat, which is great. First of all, Daiva is asking you, Martinas, can I mention this technology on my nonfiction book for authors to check their cover designs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends of what you want to gain from it. So from AI as it doesn't have biases like a male or female bias. It doesn't understand the words. So yes, from the design perspective, sure, you can. And we have clients who do analyze covers, book covers, and the journal layout. So yeah.
Yeah, so great, because Daiva was writing us in the comments that she writes sci-fi stories about AI, so she just wants to ask if it's okay to mention it in her book. I think that's great exposure for you, by the way, for attention insight. So thank you, Daiva, for question. Great idea, I think. Yuste is asking 2 questions to Martinas. Does your technology apply to static images only, and assumptions are made on standalone images, but they will never appear isolated on the environment or other competing images? So 2 questions. First of all, only static images at the moment are analyzed by Attention Insight. Am I right, Martinas?
No. Actually, we do have a really cool algorithm for video analysis, and it's been used for commercial advertising, for actually checking the for implementations when you need to analyze whether your product is being visible in the shelves compared to the competitors or not. So we literally have clients who would walk past a film, them walking past the shopping centers to see whether their products would be more visible compared to competitors or not. So now it's not just those. We do have videos. Same goes with the outdoors banners and outdoor billboards. We can even you can walk past, you can cycle past, you can drive with the car, and we can see if your billboards are getting attention or not, and we can even see if it gets a lot of attention or not a lot of attention.
Oh, great. Know that. I think that's still a new function in Attention Insight, right? Because at least a year or 2 ago you didn't have video analytics.
It's fairly new, yes. It's fairly new, and we have, as I said, we like everything we do, and this is why we're so accurate. Everything we do is based on the research and based on the things that we can back up. And this is why it took us so long to actually create our video algorithm. And this is why our algorithm, again, is by far the most accurate that I've seen anything even close to us that is on the market. And we have memory, and we have even different branches for analyzing material that goes on a telly, for example, compared to materials that are filmed in real life.
Great. So the second part of use is a great question. So the assumptions are made on standalone images, but they will never appear isolated of environment and other competing images. So how do you go around that? You analyze.
This is excellent question.
But yeah, it doesn't go alone.
Yeah.
Environment.
Yeah, Lucas. Lucas, this is a brilliant question, and thank you for those 2 questions. Actually, they make so much sense. So first of all, we look at every design. We look from 2 perspectives. One, from the design itself perspective, right? So as I was saying, like for example, if you're doing a simple redesign of a packaging or a label, right, or even a banner, for that matter. So we check how people are going to look at the banner itself, and then we simulate the feed. So you can analyze the whole website. You can analyze a picture of the billboard, with everything is around them. So so you can test both ways: isolated image and an image with other images. And you can select areas of interest. You can see how much each individual part of your analyzed visual has actually drawn attention.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, Sta. Once again, great questions. I think just to add that Attention Insight is often used to analyze websites, website designs. Often that goes, the whole picture, of the whole screen that you can see goes into the analyzation, and then you can, see what happens. So I guess if you check the website Attention Insight, there will be more information and examples of that. So But anyway, great questions. Thank you very much, Juste. And Daiva, one last question. I know we already a little bit over time, but we'll catch up. So Martinez, I was just wondering, didn't you have any, I don't know, opportunities to sell your product, for example, let's say for Photoshop, and Attention Insight to become just an plugin for a Photoshop or for Google Chrome, I don't know, search engine or something like that? You decided to make a service on your own, but did you have any suggestions to implement your solution to other products? Like business
yes, yes, and yes. And we decided that it's best for our company with our business model to actually build them ourselves. As I have already mentioned, we have a plugin. You can find us in Photoshop, in Adobe XD, Sketch, Figma, and Google Chrome as an extension. So you can create an account. We have 14 days free trial. So go ahead, check us out. You can use, whether you use us on our full solution or our plugin or Chrome extension, use the same logins and you get the results. And no matter where you work, all information will go to your full account where you can log into our full solution and analyze even further down.
Nice. Yeah, thanks. That's great. My information is just a little bit outdated since I'm familiar from your team. I guess it's been already a year or two, and I remember we were talking about these ideas or how to implement it business-wise. And I think at the moment it was still, being decided. So thank you very much, Martinez. Wonderful presentation. Really interesting to hear about Attention Insight. See you a little bit later in the discussion. And thanks everyone for the questions. And now we are going to move on with our second presentation. At that, and joining us is Weitmonos. He's a machine learning engineer at Zero. Zero is a website builder, but it's also much more than that. The team like to think of Zero as an all-around online success builder, but just to tell it in a simple way, it's simple, no-code website builder, and Domas is a machine learning engineer at the company. So automating the way to online success, and Weitmonos, we are going to hear in just a moment. Hi, Domas.
Hello, Lucas.
I can see you and hear you well. So let's listen to what you've got, and we'll be back with questions.
Okay, great. Thank you for the introduction. I'm going to talk about Zero. As Lucas mentioned, it's an online website builder, and it's driven by new technologies and artificial intelligence. I'm going to talk about how we use machine learning in our company and what features we've created with the new technologies. But let me first introduce myself and the company in a little bit more detail. I'm a machine learning engineer. I graduated physics. I'm a Python enthusiast. I love rock climbing, and I love music. Just a little bit of information about me, and then let's move on to our company. And I would like to introduce Zero in a slightly different way, from a slightly different perspective. One really different thing about our company compared to other companies that at least I've worked for is the company culture. And a lot of companies, they declare that they have a culture or values, but they're just on paper. We do have a culture in Zero, and the culture is one of personal responsibility and freedom. So we are basically free to choose the problems we want to work on, and we're responsible for implementing the solutions and seeing those solutions implemented in the builder itself through. So this freedom basically allows us, especially in our team, to rapidly prototype new technologies and try out very, very new and different things. Okay, so this is, you can see here, just a little presentation of our website builder. We have a grid-based system where you can place different elements like text and images and galleries and so on. So as Lucas mentioned in the beginning, we think of Zero as a Swiss Army knife kind of tool. And we've started with the website builder. Well, we have a goal of making people successful online, like their businesses successful online. So we've started with a website builder, and you may ask why a website builder? Well, we think that without a good website builder, without a good website, you cannot be successful online. Now, there's a barrier to entry when creating a website. Usually, you have to hire a developer, a designer, or an agency, and or you can use some of the platforms. So we wanted to create a new and next generation platform. We wanted to lower the barrier to entry. So this means that the website builder had to be very simple to use, as you can see from the grids presentation here. And so it had to be drag and drop and code free. Lastly, machine learning and other technologies are changing businesses all around the globe. So we wanted to use the newest and greatest technology available to enhance the product. Therefore, we wanted to incorporate AI tools from the get-go. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about what kind of problems we are solving or we've identified. So, what kind of problems can artificial intelligence help solve in the context of website builders? So we've identified three main areas. The first one is that potential customers are stuck with competitors. I'm going to talk a little more about it. Maybe there are new technologies or some new things that we can try out that would help move the customer to our platform. Of course, this problem is more of a business problem than a creative industries one, but it is related to AI, and we leverage some aspects of the new technologies to solve this problem. Second one is related to writing. Writing text is often time-consuming and hard, and some people like it, some people don't. And maybe we can leverage some new generative machine learning models to help with that. And so the tools we've created with the help of those models help people write better texts that have better, SEO, search engine optimization, or just inspire them with a good or a wacky title for their blogs or articles. And the third one, the third problem that we've identified that we can work on is the website design. So, designing a website isn't a trivial thing. As I mentioned, we usually need to hire an agency or a designer. So maybe there are technologies like machine learning and so on that we can leverage to help with the design aspect of the website. And I'll talk about all of those problems in more detail. So let me start with the problem that I mentioned first. It's the stuck users problem. In the web hosting industry, as opposed to web builder industry, if you have a website hosted on some server, in some hosting company, it's quite easy to change the host provider. Basically, you just zip your files and upload them to another server, and it's like a 10-minute job. It's nothing. One of the unique aspects of website builders is that you cannot just port your website to another provider. If you've created a website in some platform, you're basically stuck. You don't own the files. So what we're trying to build is a tool that would import an existing website to our platform with basically one click. Now, of course, this isn't a trivial problem. It may sound easy, but this isn't a trivial problem, since the web is a very diverse place. There are many different behaving and looking websites that you can find old ones, new ones, you can find representative websites, you can find e-shops and blogs and so on. So we're solving this problem by combining textual and visual information, visual in the form of screenshots and some source code information from the website that we can get, And so that's like scanning the website. And then we try to extract the parts of the website that are builder support. And we just rebuild the website automatically on our platform. We're constantly improving on this feature, since it's quite, you have to support a lot of different websites. eShops we can't do right now, but we're thinking about it in the future. For now, we're focusing on some simpler websites like representative or portfolio websites and so on. So we're trying to expand this feature. Okay, so the other problem I've mentioned was the text generation problem. Basically, as I mentioned, it's time consuming and hard. And we've created 4 features: AI Writer, AI Names Generator, Slogans Generator, and Block Title Generator. These are simple tools that our users can use. And so basically, they can generate unique text, and that text is usually helps with SEO also. So let me show some of them. Okay, so here's the AI Writer. You can see it in the builder here. They're all based on the transformer model, and they're trained on custom data sets. Now, the AI Writer here is quite a powerful tool. It usually cuts like weeks from your website building process. All the copy, as I said, is SEO friendly, so it helps with marketing. And each text is unique, and it's not copied over from some other website. Another tool, as I mentioned, is the names generator. So it works like this. You think of what you're doing, what your business is. You can think of a word or several keywords. Think about what represents your brand and makes it unique, for instance, and you just enter the text into the search field and click a button, and you get names, and they're unique. You can get really wacky names, but you can get really insightful names. Here I've entered pancakes or bakery, and you can see different names that were generated, like sugary, bony donuts, and so on. It's quite amazing. Next is the slogans generator. The principle is the same. You enter a couple of keywords, but in this case, it generates different slogans, which are also sometimes really wacky and funny, but a lot of them are really insightful, and you can use them. As I mentioned, they're unique and SEO friendly. Of course, since it's a transformer model, you might you better just check if there's a slogan or a company name somewhere, just in case, but they're unique, so it should be fine. Here I've entered the same pancakes bakery, and you can see like eat less slogan. It's quite funny. The third one I mentioned was block title generator. You can use the block title generator to produce a bunch of block titles about a certain topic. Basically, you just select a category, like in this case, it's food, and you can see different suggestions of what you can write about. These serve usually as an inspiration for writing, how to make avocado salsa and so on. You can just take a title as an inspiration and write the text, or use our AI text writer, to generate some text for you. Okay, then some more tools that I want to mention. This is going to be the third problem that I mentioned. The visual or the design aspect. not everyone can be designers, and the professional designer is quite expensive. So in that regard, we've created some tools, some visual tools to help with that. The first one is website heat map. It's quite similar to what Attention Insight has. It's free. You can use it on any website or a screenshot, and you can see the where our customers or users' attention would go. It can help with making a layout for your website. Basically, it's a great sanity check tool for a website, and see if, for instance, a call to action button is in the right place, and so on. So we really love this tool. Another one we created based on UNet architecture. Is the image background remover. It's quite self-explanatory. You upload an image and it removes the background for it. Here you can see an example of a cat that I've just used the tool like yesterday for this image. When creating a website, you usually need some images that don't have a background. So we just thought, okay, we can do this, and we've implemented this in our builder. Then we have the image upscaler. It's another tool that basically enhances the quality of an image. It is currently based on a model that enhances the quality by 2 times, but we're about to replace it with a newer solution based on newer research that enhances the quality 4 times. You can see here there's a bit of difference, but it's going to be a little bit better in the future. Then we have the logo generator. This tool, as Lucas mentioned in the beginning, we want to make not only a website builder, but like an all-in-one solution to build an online business. So this is an example of a tool that is not necessarily related to building websites, but is a vital part of building a business. Making a logo, and making a logo is usually also quite expensive. You have to hire a designer, and we thought maybe we can leverage generative adversarial neural networks, or GANs, in that regard, and just add some post-processing like vectorization and make the logos look good. And each time you can just generate like infinite number of logos and then mix and match them. So there are also features that we're working on at the moment, like a website layout generator, where you can just that would optimize a layout for for some metric that we call good looking metric, and can generate just different layouts of a website. We're working on it like right now at the moment. And this is going to be a huge leap for us, as it will cut down a huge chunk of time that people spend when creating a website. Okay, what next? Yeah, so maybe some of you may ask, like, how are we making those features? So I can just mention the technology stack that we use. Maybe it's going to be useful for someone. We use a bunch of technologies, and some of them you can see here. I'm going to just say that all of the code is in Python. We use Google Cloud Platform to deploy the models that we train. We store them on Google Cloud Platform. We train them on the virtual machines there. Then we use Scrappy or some headless browsers to scrape information from the web to gather the data sets. Then we use PyTorch, since it's quite a good library for fast prototyping, to train models. And lastly, we ourselves implement the API, what are called APIs, using the fast API library of Python. So as you can see, all of the technologies are basically chosen because of their of being easy to start with and easy to start prototyping quickly. Okay. That will be all. Maybe you have any questions?
Sure, we have. Always we do. But first of all, whoa. So it was definitely not only a website builder. I'm surprised and overwhelmed, and really interesting to hear all the functions and everything. Wow, really a lot. So of course we have some questions. If you have any questions, write those down in the chat. There are already some great questions. First of all, Artem is asking, Domas, your project looks really awesome. So many useful features that lack in all other website builders I saw recently. So question, do you support content localization?
Yes, I think. I don't work with that part of the builder, so
yeah,
I cannot definitely answer that question for sure, but yes, I think so.
Yeah, your colleague is in a chat, looks like. Matas just answered the question
yeah, great.
a moment ago. He said that we do not have a proper content localization, but it's in the works at the moment. So yeah, that answers the question. And I was wondering also, also Artem is having the same voice as I am. So do you use GPT-3 for generating content, maybe in Lithuanian? I was also wondering, would it be possible to make this kind of a tool that you have in Lithuanian language, or how hard?
No, right now we only have it in English. It's there. This isn't a trivial problem, to make it in other languages. We've been looking at it. We've been trying to get it to work, but we still need some time to do that. So not at the moment. We don't have that at the moment.
Yes,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, once again, your colleague is in the chat answering the questions, which is great.
Great, thank you, Matas.
Now Mantas is joining us and said that actually, yeah, currently GPT-3 is not freely available, so we use other solutions.
Yeah.
I was wondering maybe you're using GPT-2, but it seems
no, yeah. It's a different thing.
Okay, and just in general, would it be possible to have the product, the solution that you have in Lithuanian? I mean, how hard would that be? Can you imagine even happening in the next, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years?
Are you talking about the writer?
Yes, the writer mostly.
Well, if we get access to GPT-3, then I think yes.
Okay, because
you have to wait for the access and so on. So yeah, maybe with the GPT-3 it would be possible, but with the current model that we're using, it's not really.
Okay, so but GPT-3 is going to work with the Lithuanian language.
It might. I haven't had access to it. Also, I've asked for it, but they didn't grant me the access, so I cannot answer that for sure. But we would definitely try. One of the first things I think would be to try it with the Lithuanian language.
Okay. Yeah, just asking just because I'm trying to follow this language model question about Lithuanian language for the last 5 years. I'm following and trying to follow what's happening new and what is available and what is not. And for all of those who are wondering what are we talking about, GPT-3 is a language model. Let's say a computer language. Yeah. If you don't know about the technology, I really recommend you do a little research, Google about GPT-3. We are mentioning it too often maybe, but to explain it in detail would take maybe a long time, but it's one of the most amazing technologies that has been presented last year, if I'm right. So yeah, GPT-3, if anyone interested what we are talking about, I think you should do some Googling on the side next to the chat.
Yeah, it's amazing. I would just like to say that GPT-3 isn't that different from GPT-2. It's just a lot bigger, but it can do a lot of different stuff than the previous iteration. So yeah, just check it out. It's really amazing.
Yeah, if anyone heard it for the first time, GPT-3, just definitely check a little bit more about that. And Darius has another great question. So he's saying, Domas, great product. Question: how do you ensure that names, slogans are really unique?
That's a good question. We don't do like additional checks to see if there's a database of them. You know, if you're creating a business, I think the responsibility should come from you. You know, if you're creating a business and you want to name your business somehow, you have to check that you know, it's unique. We can just suggest things based on the model's output. You know, it might produce something that is not entirely unique, but usually it does. So yeah.
Yeah, great. I'm also working on the chat with one of my hands. Really active, everyone, today. Nice. The middle of the week, but it feels like everyone has quite a lot of energy. I think we had one more question. Oh, so your colleague Matas is adding that we had a little fun with experimenting with GPT-3 in Lithuanian, but it doesn't work properly. Though I'm pretty sure that in the next 1 or 2 years, we'll have something working in Lithuania. Hope so too. So great.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's about it. Most of my questions are answered. So definitely Zero is more than a website builder. I'm impressed. I now believe in you. Thank you so much, Domas Weitmonos, machine learning engineer at Zero, just told us all about the functions: AI writer, AI names generator, AI slogan generator, AI block title generator. So I know Daiva is in the chat. She's a writer, as I can understand. So I don't know how long are we going to have our jobs, Daiva. So me including writing about stuff. The AI is already doing that. So okay, enough fun. So thank you very much, Domas. See you in the discussion. Let's move on with our next presentation. Kind of a similar topic in the fields of graphics. Simonas Bastys, lead developer at Pixelmator, and the Pixelmator is a graphic editor developed for Mac OS by Lithuanian brothers Saulius and Aidas Dailidė. It's one of the Lithuanian startup success stories, and an old one, Pixelmator. And so we are going to hear about photography workflows enhancement using machine learning tools. Simonas, hi.
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 Thanks, Lucas. So yeah, hi everyone. I'm leading product development at Pixelmator team, and today I will briefly discuss our products that are using machine learning to improve photography workflows. And okay, at Pixelmator team, we create image editing application Pixelmator for the Mac computers with wide variety of classical image processing and machine learning based tools. It runs on a low-end hardware as well as powerful high-end Macs. But not only that, we work also on mobile platforms. So we create our application for iPads as well. That's different challenges. We have touch-only input, and we have to optimize for much lower power consumption. And the third one is iPhones. Our products are developed for iPhones as well. So this is, we are coming from very, very high-end hardware for cinema studios that are working on image processing for full feature films, back to mobile platforms, iPhones. So this is very wide variety platforms for us to take care. And but we are focusing only on Apple products. We are thriving in this ecosystem. So this is our field. And so company was founded in 2007. And since then we are working on classical image processing. such as color correction, retouching, effects, transformation, etc. You name it. But in 2017, we launched first machine learning enabled tools. And in today's presentation, I will share our company perspective on designing such tools. Okay, I will start with design goals, creating Pixelmator machine learning tools. The first one is that we have to resolve the real problem. There is no place in photography or creative workflows for gimmick features. We think that. And we have to resolve some pain point. If you have some quality issue, you have some bad image in your creative workflow, you would like to fix that. And in classical image processing, there is some limitations that are could be overcome with machine learning. So we are focusing on that. And but that tends to be boring features and hardly could make big news or splash. So for an example, white balance issue, where your image becomes bluish with bluish tint. This is a very important problem for us, and we're working very hard for past 5 years on this problem. Next one, reliable and dependable. It has to be reliable. We do have over 1 million paying customers using our products with a wide variety of workflows, photography types, and styles. We have to take into account all of that to create useful product. It's not enough for us to create flashy demo for successful machine learning based feature. We are launching immediately for 1 million customers, and they will try at once. And in our product development, we have just this first chance to impress and to be in user workflow. And this is very important for us to launch product ready features. The third one, and is fast. It should be fast. That's it. And this is very critical for creative products in our view. And this is something we are focusing a lot of our engineering resources to create as fast as possible all our machine learning models. And the major part why we are fast and how we are achieving the fast performance is that we are doing all the processing only on device. So this is no go for our product to transfer your photos to server or to any kind of cloud, and because you're working with private pictures and you don't want to be your pictures to go anywhere else. So this is very important for us, and we are getting performance and privacy at the same time. Okay, and for today, I will have 3 tools to discuss. We have around 10 tools using machine learning at this moment in our company. I will focus on 3 tools for today. And the first one is ML Enhance. It's content-aware white balance and tone and contrast correction tool. So say you have an image with common issue where white balance and tint is broken. This is mostly issue that your camera created due to limited ability to do precise white balance correction in camera. And there are some cameras that create oversaturated look of photos, and then it's hard to fix colors or add your own creative look. So we train our model on millions of manually adjusted photos to fix such issues. That was really tough process to come up with such data set. There is no data set that you could have or to be freely available. This is something that we have to, from the very start of this project, we had to develop our own data set. What we believe is real life, good picture, removing all oversaturated colors, white balance issues, just the things that we are seeing with our eyes. This was a very challenging part of project, but we succeeded. And here is a very simple example, is that image on the left is with white balance broken. It's gone to bluish color, and it's fixed in with our machine learning model. There is also classical image processing algorithms that could fix such issues, but our machine learning approach to this problem adds additional value, that it could resolve really challenging tasks that you need a semantic understanding of the scene. The classical approach here would just try to make your image as gray as possible to gray point, and doesn't care about the content itself. So this is our grand project: fix the colors as they are seen in real life, remove all the limitations of current technologies that are in your camera, or not the limitations, but even over-engineered saturation or contrast that your camera could add just to make your picture look better. We are looking to create for you the starting ground for your own creative adventure, and remove all other people ideas how your picture should look like. The next one is machine learning based denoise, and this is camera noise removal from photos. And yeah, one of the major issues of low light and smartphone photography is the noise levels on the image that destroys image quality, and perceptually image loses details and clarity. So this is a very common problem, and it's improved a lot over past 10-20 years. Digital cameras are dealing pretty well with camera noise, but still there is camera noise, especially if you try to make picture in your apartment during nighttime, and it's all blurry, or it has very strong noise. So, and the camera noise removal problem is nearly impossible to solve with classical image processing algorithms. Every camera sensor has a unique fingerprint of noise, and it's impossible to develop noise removal for every camera sensor. It's too large task. We have thousands of different camera sensors here, and it's just impossible to develop generic solution using classical image processing. So machine learning methods came here useful. We worked a lot again with dataset to create such dataset for removing noise from pictures, but I think we succeeded pretty well, and we launched a product with and we got really good feedback from photographers, and in a simple sense, it looks like that. You have the noisy image on the left, and you have beautiful clear picture on the right after a mild denoise. If you would try to use classical processing to remove the noise, you would remove the noise, but the image would look like blurry. It just will add blur, and this is the perceptual quality of image will not be improved. You will not see the blur, the noise itself, but it will be all blurry, and that's not what you want. The last one is ML super resolution. So actually, this is the tool that Domas presented in their tool set, but we had a bit different mindset creating our own super resolution tool. And this is image upscaling while resynthesizing details and textures of images. And we all been in places where you have image, but it's too small for your use case. For example, you need image for your presentation, much larger than you have one at hand. And you try to put in place and upscale, and it's all blurry. And not all blurry, but even when you try to upscale image, you will see compression artifacts appearing. And so we designed our tool to fix such common points. upscale. So upscaling should retain sharpness, but also to remove artifacts that are becoming more and more visible when you upscale your image. And as this tool is super power hungry, we worked a lot on performance side of this tool, and we designed it that it should be as fast as possible. So, but the competition at this moment is mostly that machine learning models are run on server. You upload your image, be upscaled on server, and you download the bigger image. In our case, we process all images on your device, even on mobile phone, and we worked super hard on this problem, how to achieve comparable or good performance. So current state-of-the-art methods would take minutes on your computer, whereas our machine learning model takes seconds. And this is a huge achievement for us, and we're very proud with such performance and that you could actually use on your computer or iPhone. And this is how it looks. You have small image, it becomes larger, very simple. And in 2019, our machine learning tools got Apple Design Award. We got this award as our built machine learning tools achieved the highest design, user experience, and engineering standards in the ecosystem. We were among the first products based on machine learning that got awarded by Apple Design Awards. And this is second Apple Design Award in Lithuania. The first one we got in 2011. So we have 2 Apple Design Awards in Lithuania. Again, so I will recap very quickly. To have successful product for us means solving a real problem. In this case, quality problems with photos and being reliable and fast. The same principle applies to our non-machine learning or classical image processing tools. And we simply see machine learning as an additional tool to build and improve our products. So that's it.
Thank you, Simonas. Thank you very much. Amazing, simple yet brilliant, all clear. The functions are really clear to understand. The chance, the noise, super resolution, and Pixelmator is really interesting company to follow. Okay, if anyone has any questions, I'm looking at the chat, and yeah, we already have some questions. So Matas, first of all, is saying, the noise reduction example looked insane. Was it a real use case scenario?
Okay, I did this for presentation. I was not sure how compression would be on the Zoom. I see that the quality is really good here, so I should try to use real life example here. It was just for demonstration purposes. I did this one.
Okay, okay, and also Matas is asking, any plans of making porting it to other platforms, Linux, for example? I think it's a question for you.
Yeah, so our company founded in 2007, and we focused on Apple platforms. And since then, we are expanding our work to mobile platforms, to iPad, to iPhone. But this is something I think that in our values, in our mindset, it just doesn't fit our company. And if we will work to some other platform, probably it will be a different company that we'll have to create from scratch to do just that. This is very focusing on the native products for the platform. So, and we are kind of proud of that, and we're happy to do that and continue working on that.
Yeah. And how long have you been working on these machine learning tools? I mean, how hard was it to actually make these functions? How long did it take?
So every machine learning tool, we started from some research, and we got the idea how it works in real life, state of the art, and but all of the state of the art models had some serious shortcomings, and even if we could build demo in 1 week, but then we see, okay, for in production we'll have this problem, and this problem, and I will have a very short saying that. For example, super resolution model in most state-of-the-art tools are not handling transparency, semi-transparent parts of image. For example, if you have blurry small scale logo, there is mostly they will not care about transparency. And for us, it was very important to handle such case, and we worked very hard to fix that and to work elegantly with transparency. So super resolution problem took 1.5 years, and it's about 400 experiments with architecture and data sets. And every experiment took about 1 week, and we ran several experiments in parallel. So it's about 1 year at least for every tool for us.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and Mantas has another question. So what is the main reason for doing all machine learning jobs on the user side?
So yeah, this is very important for us. Again, I will reiterate that it's important for us to achieve the best possible performance. We believe that the current hardware and specialized processors that are available for machine learning, you can achieve that. It's a challenging engineering task, but you can achieve that. And there is no need for internet connection. For us, is important on the go. You can process as many photos as you want. In our workflows, we expect users to process in one go 10,000 photos. This is something that would not be reliable or fast with any cloud-based solution, or would be very expensive. For us, is just electricity for the user that will be consumed. And as free part is also very important for us is privacy. We don't need to care. There is no need for us to take care of user photos or private material. So we are very happy to state in our privacy policy, we don't know what you are. We don't know any data. We don't have any data from you. So this is just a good thing for us to have.
Great. Yeah, and I was also wondering, other graphic editors, Photoshop and others, and even those who are made for video editing, all at some point have some machine learning tools, some machine learning functions. I'm wondering, what is it exactly what you are competing in, the graphic editors in machine learning? Is it, I don't know, the number of functions you want to give to the user, or maybe the quality of the functions? What's really, where is the challenge? Where are you competing with other graphic editors?
So back in 2017, when we started, we were one of the first tools in an ecosystem with machine learning tools. And I would say we are still alone in this. We have no competition in this field. We just tackle very precise problem of quality issues with your photos, and most of the current development is based on generative or creating something. For example, I tried to mention that we are not interested in gimmick features. For example, make your photo look like old you. This is something that fades away in very short time span, and this is not interesting for us. So we are not competing with that. We are competing in the sphere of quality improvements or resolving real pain points where you have bad image and you would like to make it look better so you could start working with it. And at this moment, we have no competition, and I understand why. It's just very tough field to work on. It's super boring at times, and it's I would say expensive.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your honesty. And really, by the way, you started the functions, they appeared in 2017. I was surprised, since that was a very early steps for machine learning. I wouldn't be surprised if the functions, appeared last year, but you did it in 2017. So that's really a step ahead from everyone else. So thanks a lot. Thank you very much, Simonas. Great presentation. Interesting to hear what you're working on at Pixelmator. So we heard from Simonas Bastys, lead developer at Pixelmator. See you soon, Simonas, at the discussion. Thanks everyone for the questions in the chat. Let's move on with our last presentation, which is from Rytis Maskeliūnas, who is a CTO of UAB CTE, and a researcher at Kaunas University of Technology. Rytis focuses on applying modern methods of artificial intelligence in multimodal signal processing. His main interest and expertise areas are advanced AI and deep learning and game development, game AI, modeling of game mechanics, shader programming and app development. And he's going to tell us that, yep, AI can beat a human player. So AI in gaming. Let's hear from Rytis. Hi, Rytis.
So hi everyone, thanks for such a nice introduction, not much to add. So as mentioned, I am a researcher working in this field, mostly in signal processing, but why I was invited and what Lucas has not mentioned, I teach computer gaming and I teach AI in computer gaming. So this time I will try to speak more maybe from academic perspective and try to prove that technically we can make such a good AI that is as capable as a human player and actually can beat him. So without further ado, first, I think we should distinguish the two concepts. First, from typical game dev's point of view, let's say from typical game dev company, what is an AI? So AI typically governs the behavior of characters in the game, often NPCs, and sometimes it's also tools that can help generate terrain, generate some map, and so on. But generally, the concept is really basic. So the basic two components in, say, a typical commercial game are pathfinding and finite state machines. So what is pathfinding? Basically, it's quite simplistic algorithm that uses a CPU to find a path from point A to point B. And you can find this in any game where, let's say, character walks on a map. Then we have finite state machines, which is a simple algorithm where some NPC can be in different states and move between them. So for example, I'm getting shot at, I need to turn away, pick up some ammo, yeah? So then for the content generation, we have often procedural generation methods, which is some mathematical algorithm that describes the rules and often somewhat randomly where some object should appear. So where should I paint trees, walls, houses, roads, whatever. So this is the game dev perspective. But on the other hand, I will now speak from a researcher's perspective, which actually now little by little moves also into game dev's perspective. So from researcher's point of view, AI, if you would Google it, you would find first like in a previous presentation, image recognition, medical analysis, speech recognition, text, natural language processing, and so on. But actually within this, AI in video game processing is actually quite well-established research area. So here we are talking about AI agents who would theoretically, or as I will show you, sometimes even practically, are able to win against a human subject. And this is actually very challenging, at least from AI's perspective, because there are lots of game genres, each has a different play style. And on top of that, each game has a different environment. There are different tasks you need to do. And these tasks, depending on the game, they're sometimes even complex for a human player. Sometimes even you even need to browse or read the manual to understand what you need to do in the game. So you get the problem. Okay, I know that the main idea is for the game, especially for a successful commercial game, is to actually allow the player to win, because what fun it is if you cannot win ever, and AI is always smarter. But this technology, these algorithms, when toned down, they can offer a lot of challenges and varieties. So basically, AI then is no longer on rails. So let's start by investigating these games, these winning situations. So I will speak, and most of the examples I'm going to show today will be based on one of the more popular areas in artificial intelligence, reinforcement learning. And on the screen, you see the scheme. So this is a very simple technique where we have an AI agent which tries to get as much as reward as possible from some unknown environment. So it's the same as a human player. So you go around the map, you pick up gold, you use that gold to proceed or get a better weapon and so on. So same principle applies here. Then we have another technique, very popular buzzword you often hear today, the so-called deep learning. And why is it deep? It's basically because it goes through lots of data. So by combining the two, we have deep reinforcement learning that fires, basically runs most of the winning AI algorithms. So enough for the theory. Now let's speak about the actual games. So I have separated into Gen 1 and Gen 2, and actually we can probably speak about Gen 3 too, but I think these are the most popular and most Googleable examples. By the way, each slide will contain a reference, a research paper, because I'm a researcher, but still fun to read and learn how this exact method works and so on. So let's talk about Gen 1. So you see here, two buzzwords, Deep Blue and Alphago. They're really milestones in winning game AI. So Alphago is probably the more popular one. It's also more recent. It's backed by Google's DeepMind, and it's about the game Go, which is an ancient Chinese game, somewhat similar to checkers, but much more complex because you are on 19 board. You also use black and white stones, and you need to surround opposing stones on all orthogonally adjacent points. So from AI's perspective, from dev perspective, you're actually on a very large space of possible moves. So Go is actually considered extremely challenging for an AI to win. But by using Monte Carlo tree search, AlphaGo, the first version, was able to find optimal moves much more efficiently than, say, a typical min-max that is used in actual existing games. So after that, Alphago Zero appeared, and this one was completely different. While AlphaGo was like finding the most optimal move, because you can calculate all possible combinations. It was trained with supervised learning. So basically, it was fed lots of game matches and so on, speaking in a way. So AlphaGo Zero was a milestone in the sense that it used self-playing to train itself. So you see this image. The agents started to play the game, and the AI starting to learn how the game works. So this one was an extreme breakthrough, because not only AI found out the rules, it became one of the world's top Go players. So another classic that we have here is Deep Blue. It's a chess game, and now it's mentioned quite less because it's old. It was in 1997, not in 2010 as AlphaGo. But this one was still a breakthrough at the time, a bit more brute force, because it had dedicated hardware split into evaluation function, alpha beta search, and move generator, and so on. But still, it gave the idea with modern computing for an engine to be used in chess games as a winning formula, because in 1997 this engine was able to win against world champions of chess. So it's quite a milestone. So now let's go towards Gen 2. And after Alphago Zero, Alpha Zero appeared. And this one was able to play Go, Shogi, and chess. Then, given the success and now proven fact that AI can learn how to play games, the idea came to adapt this principle to a set of Atari games. Plenty of variety from Pac-Man to various platformers, and but still following the same principle where Monte Carlo tree search was used to compute search policy, search value, and observed reward. And this was actually, at the time of publishing, state of the art in arcade, in beating arcade games at human opponents. So you might think, yeah, it's board games, fixed rules, or simple arcade games. Again, not that much variety, but AI progressed and we moved into a more advanced realm. So I don't need to explain what OpenAI is. I'm pretty sure all of our audience are familiar with this. So by utilizing the results, the platform, OpenAI 5 basically was a proof that AI can be used to play really complex, again, from AI's perspective, games such as Dota versus human opponents and win. So you have what you have. You have basically two teams of 5 fighting against each other with a goal to destroy some structure. Yeah. So again, on top of that, you have lots of playable characters. You have some items you can use to upgrade. So lots of combinations, lots of character builds. So the list of possibilities here is really, really long. So OpenAI bots were trained again using this reinforcement learning, and this time using methods such as asynchronous advantage actor-critic algorithm, which allowed to win initially, of course, in 1 versus 1. But I think they gathered like 180 years of human gameplay every day. So I was able to analyze quite a lot of situations. So often you see, by the way, this principle here in the scheme, but at the first tournament, International 7, I think this was the breakthrough, and then the engine was further improved to defeat human players in a 5 versus 5 setting, and that was shown in TI8 tournaments, but again, quite impressive. So then we have Starcraft 2, which again is very, very popular game, at least at the time, but people still play it. But more importantly, it's a classic, good real-time strategy example. So AI also here is able to beat 99.8, if you believe literature, % of human players. Particularly, this is really challenging for AI because of the sheer number of potential choices a player can make. Because you can control hundreds of units at a time, you can do them in formations, you can attack from whatever angle. So it's billions of choices for a single move to happen. So again, the team from Google, AlphaStar, played anonymously against human players in a series of online games, Battle.net, and actually ranked in top 200 for each of the leagues it got completed. So quite an impressive achievement, don't you agree? So next we have a completely different category. First-person shooters, racing, Minecraft. You see that the area I'm talking now is getting broader and broader. We are trying to cover, the AI is trying to win against humans in more and more games. So with Doom, again, the breakthrough was with an engine called Doom, which was basically built to simulate environments of classic Doom. And the model played deathmatch games through the same reinforcement learning principle. So by the agent explored the game map, he fought enemies. Also, this, of course, depended where he learned where the enemy is, how it appears, how to kill it. So instead of using the classic approach, maybe the breakthrough here is that this model utilized deep recurrent queue network. So instead of only giving a positive reward, for example, only for killing and negative reward for dying, this model implemented immediate rewards for picking up ammo, for picking up health, and negative rewards for losing health or wasting ammo on missing, for example, on missing the enemy. So again, you see how much of the data to process, but still with rising competences we are able to do. Next, we have a Torx-based game category, and by the way, Torx is a simulator engine not only for racing simulation but also widely used to develop autonomous vehicles. Madras, a variant of Torx, was another breakthrough because it used a multi-agent version. So multi-agent means now we have different AI agents investigating situations in our game. And this is actually really complex to do. So roughly the achievement after 12 hours of training was about 70% to 90% of human player on the tracks. So important. Finally, we have a platform for Minecraft. And this symbolizes the ability of AI to play in open world games. Yeah. And you all know that the key aspect here is nonlinear gameplay. And typically you have large game world to explore. And sometimes, especially like in Minecraft, there are no goals or a lot of goals under unclear ordering. So you need to find out for yourself what you are doing here and so on. So Project Malmo comes into mind as a platform where the same reinforcement learning was used to basically reuse and transfer the knowledge learned to new tasks. So basically, again, AI is now able to tell himself what to do in such a game. So really important. I mentioned content generation, but today we are talking about games. So what about a game where AI is able to govern the game, but also generate the game itself? So a good example of this is AI Dungeon 2, and it's based on natural language processing, and actually the same GPT-2 engine that guys mentioned before me. And basically here AI is working with a collection of texts from adventure books. So you have as a result you have a text-based adventure where you can be anything. So you interact like this, as you see on the screen, and you basically drive the story, or actually AI drives the story. So you can be whatever you want. In this case, be a god, build an empire, whatever. The AI will always find some answer for you. And since this GPT generative pre-trained transformer was mentioned, again, I will also like to show that it's actually really simple and supervised and quite generative model, which means that it takes some input as a sequence and tries to generate an appropriate response. And this is quite well illustrated in this AI dungeon, which, by the way, you can try for yourselves in browser or just looking at Google Colab link below. But as was also mentioned, now there is a GPT-3 for even more dangers. And what is the danger? You probably heard of a situation where AI has learned to quote Hitler, yeah? So AI is pretty dangerous when it's running on its own. Okay, time is flying. So now let's try to move towards the end and speak. So what's the problem here? Because if computers are getting more and more powerful, and tools are getting more and more available. By the way, by the picture on the screen, I would like to give credits also to Lithuanian developers of Unity for providing superb machine learning tool, which is really, really accessible for students. So kudos, guys. So from data perspective, we have infinite amount of data, yeah? We have somewhat controllable and replicatable game environment. There are no, at least little safety and ethical concerns because everything happens in the game. So what is the issue? So first, the issue is the data itself, or in other words, the efficiency of data samples. So while we have the potential by these deep learning algorithms to outclass human performance in multiple tasks, still the amount of data, the amount of training is really, really, really high. So where a human can quickly acquire rewarding actions in the environment, you need to pick up, let's say, a health kit in order to survive, or you need to find, let's say, 5 golden coins in order to upgrade to beat the boss. For AI, it takes millions of samples to train on and to reach the same level of humans. So what researchers hunt for this problem is the efficiency. They're basically combating, they're learning how to deal with sample efficiency. So a good example of this is the Ready Policy 1 framework, which is developed by Google, Berkeley, Oxford universities. And again, this framework was proven quite successfully in many tasks from OpenAI Gym. So you can read about it in quite a lot of blogs and papers. So we are getting there, I would say, but still to be solved. Again, further problem is how the algorithms hunt for knowledge. So exploration versus exploitation. So the trade-off here, well, the trade-off between exploration, the process of gathering more information outside what we know, what algorithm knows of game world, and versus the exploitation, which is the process of gathering and using information only in a current node space. This is actually a challenge for reinforcement learning. So there are different methods like action space noise, parameter space noise, curiosity-driven exploration, and so on. So action space noise and parameter space noise, they use a chance of doing something random, the noise part, every time the action is taken or the parameters are updated. But why you think? Because this might improve the path of getting the knowledge, yeah? So curiosity-driven exploration is not based, it's different, it's not based on blind search, blind random search, but on rewarding curiosity. So here, basically, it's trying to solve the first problem in a sense. So I already mentioned this, and it's in particular important in games like Starcraft or GTA and whatnot, multi-agents, because in the game, we want numerous NPCs to behave differently. So, and typically they behave different. So this is a problem because most current and state-of-the-art deep learning, recurrent learning approaches, they were trained on a single agent. Of course, this, from performance perspective, from data perspective, this remains a challenge to see how much we can scale to, how many agents we can get in various situations. So they interact, the idea here is that they interact with each other, they learn the environment somewhat differently, and so on. So then we have the issue of understanding what makes the game work. So delayed and sparse reward. So here, if you would look from what is the reward, the reward is typically spread out and requires exploration in order to be acquired. Because it requires exploration, obviously agent needs to learn how to explore. So inefficient exploration methods leads to inefficient sample inefficiency, which I have said in the first place. So straightforward method for treating such delayed rewards and sparse rewards is only using more efficient exploration and exploitation algorithms. And again, curiosity-driven exploration algorithms are at least a current thing that works here. So then we have another issue. How long can AI learn? Because when you offer a game for the player, obviously, it's very likely that the model needs to be somewhat trained. Of course, you might choose to leave some learning ability within the game, within the end product itself, but often that's not the case. So lifelong adaptations, yeah? Technically, for a human can quickly change his behavior when he realizes that some strategy does not work and he needs to do things differently. So if we take Souls styles of games where to beat boss or even different types of enemies, you need to find an optimum strategy. This is the situation where it's becoming really, really relevant because again, the data is getting quite significantly impressive. Okay, so finally we have human-like behavior as an issue. Again, I think you can understand, and adjustable performance. The downscaling to acceptable and fun to play factor, because you don't want in the end product an AI that can always win. And this is my final slide. So I encourage everyone to try it. Of course, AI is still not perfect, plenty of issues, billions of samples of data to get it trained, but it's fun and we can do it. So thanks again, guys. I hope it was of some use.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Rytis. Thank you for showing us some of the game mechanics and the challenges with AI in games. We have some questions. We are a little bit over time, but we'll catch up with a little bit of shorter discussion. We have a few questions from everyone who is watching. So Domas is asking, which areas do you think reinforcement learning can be used for apart from game playing? Or could it be used in the future somewhere else?
Of course, if the same principle can be even applied in reverse engineering perspective. What if we learn about you, the player, how you play in the game, and then we use that information, for example, in some generative adversarial network to generate a more advanced level from it. Yeah, so the capabilities are endless. So it's about the scenario of how you want to handle the data.
Yeah, Great. And another question by Martinez. I'm just not completely sure about which algorithm I'm talking about, but Martinez is saying, so this algorithm can be applied with soldiers like Terminators, and with enough training and fast-moving skeleton, it would become an ultimate killing machine.
So yeah, technically, probably that's how machine have learned in Skynet, the evil network Terminator, that it must exterminate all humans, because it analyzed, and probably the reward function in its recurrent learning algorithm was that the most reward I will get, I will rule the world only with all humans. Yeah, Martinez, you are correct, absolutely.
Okay, thank you for an answer. And just Daiva has a comment that this looks awesome. I can sense in near future we will have reality shows of AI bots and so on. So yeah, it's also a great insight. So thank you very much, Rytis. Great presentation. Gaming sphere is quite new for us, for me too. So interesting, the challenges that you have. So that's it from the presentations for the moment. And now we are just moving straight into the discussion that we are going to have. And just as we had fun with the presentations, I think we had fun. Yes, I think we had fun. So we are going to have some fun in the discussion, which is about Lithuania, the ecosystem in Lithuania, the ecosystem of creative industries and AI in Lithuania. And I have all 5 of us connected. And anyone, if you have any questions in the chat still, you can ask about the work that these guys do, the presenters, anything you want, you could just go do it in the chat. My first question is, with the other topics we have in Lithuania Goes AI events, that's agrotech, education, and biotechnology field, and so on, I think it's a little bit easier to say that there is a community of this field in Lithuania. I'm not sure about creative industries. So I'm just wondering, and I want to ask you, do you feel a part of creative industries ecosystem or community here in Lithuania, or no? Or maybe you feel a part of some more specific community? I could imagine gaming community or a graphic designer community for some of you. So I would like you just to share with me what kind of community field do you have here in Lithuania? What kind of community are you part of?
Okay, I will start. So our company is mostly working in creative industries, but our community is a bit out of Lithuania because we are focusing on one platform. It's mostly Apple platform. So for me, it's the first time I see colleagues here. It's fun to see that someone is working on similar problems, but I think that maybe there is very different interest. For example, for us is the ultimate interest Apple platform. So it's not something maybe in interest for other companies, and we're just standing by, but not in some sort of community here.
Yeah, so Simonas, I can imagine you're a part of Lithuanian, those who are interested in Apple community, maybe developers community, right? But I'm also quite skeptical if it's there even a thing of creative industry community in Lithuania. Maybe it's too segmented, right, into some other topics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Great. What about others?
I would just like to add that I personally don't feel like a part of some creative industries community. What I feel a part of is like a general like programmer or developer or a machine learning community. I have some friends over there, like working in BPT, like the Baltic Technology Institutes, and so on. So I feel more of I feel like I belong to a community that is more programmer, developer, more technical people, but not the creative industries. I don't really interact with designers apart from the company that I work in. Yeah.
Thanks, Domas. It's not that I'm trying to point out any problem, not at all. I'm just to point out a fact that really is, it's kind of, I don't know. I try to imagine maybe in Copenhagen, I don't know, they have a community of industries. Doesn't feel like we have in Lithuania. We have the community of designers, of developers, of AI enthusiasts, and so on. And so I'm interested in what kind of communities are here. Yeah.
Maybe it's possible to bridge that gap, because Lithuania is not that large. We could just have some interesting events.
Yeah, definitely. We have a field of creative industries and a lot of specialists working in that field, but not necessarily a community. So, Rytis, what kind of communities do you feel?
This field is actually quite new. If we take it, I think 5 years, the initial effort appeared, initial products appeared, then more actively it was like 3 years ago. So it's kind of a very young age for a community to form. So it's very fragmented over different sectors, and I think people are unifying, joining, and because more and more companies appear working on this sector, offering products for media, signal processing, and so on. So the sector is quite developing, and in Lithuania's sense, I would say in quite a rapid step. So 5 years ago, we had almost nothing. Now we have plenty of startups working on such solutions, and I think even in European perspective, we are looking quite nice. So we need to look optimistically at this. And
yeah. Thank you, Rytis. So I'll just move on to, I guess, to the main question. The main question I would like you all to answer today. And since we're talking about Lithuania, AI and creative industries. And I'm wondering if there is anything that we can talk. Is there anything specific about creative industries? And if it's even related to AI, it's even better in Lithuania. I mean, if you would be working the same thing that you do, if you would be doing it, let's say in Sweden, in Germany, in the Netherlands, in UK, would you say you will feel somehow different? And I know we might get political about this. Maybe you would have some different tax system that would be easier for you as a creative industry specialist. So is there anything specific that we have here in Lithuania with creative industry, such as it's a very international field. So yeah, I'm wondering.
Yeah, at least in games, since you mentioned Germany, we are doing better than Germany if we take the number of people that we have, and actually significantly better, and probably catching up towards say Finland, Sweden, and so on. And here I would like to encourage Pixelmator guys to say, because they were, in my eyes, they were quite a breakthrough in creative industries. they basically tell in this sector for Apple World that it's Lithuania. We have such a great products from them.
Yeah. Okay. So Pixelmator guys, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about working in Lithuania? What does it change anything?
So I would say this is it's a bit hard to discuss nowadays. Lithuania, we are all working remotely. I haven't met my colleagues for more than 2 years. So, and this is something that I'm really happy that we have very strong sense of strong design community here in Lithuania, and this is one of the reasons why we have created successful product in design world, that we are able to tap this talent, which is not necessarily technical, and but I think we have really fine European taste, and this is really we can compete with everyone on that. But it's a small country. Not all of our employees are from Lithuania, and it's the tendency is that there is not much difference if it's person is from Europe or from America or States. It's hard for me to see that Lithuania is somehow is not part of Europe. It's just Europe, our ecosystem, and our talents are all from Europe. And this is, yeah, how I see that.
I would like to add the Unity as an illustration here, because the AI part, so the machine learning agents platform and so on, was developed here for the most part in Lithuania, and now it's really, really popular. And there are games appearing with true AI and so on. So it's another accelerator showing that the capability of the country. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no one knows that.
So
I would like to add something if I can.
Sure.
Well, we have a really nice ecosystem of startups. Like there's this new community called unicorns or something like that. Like being born right now, that where like the largest companies have this incubator for startups. So that's like Teslanet and Hostinger and so on. And they're creating like this ecosystem for new guys to come in and pitch their ideas. So they're really cool. And if we wouldn't be working in Lithuania, it would be harder, because these guys have access to people that we usually don't, like in Silicon Valley and so on. You know, you can just schedule a call with someone from Silicon Valley and just ask for some advice regarding this or this topic. So Lithuania does have this like great ecosystem, great culture of startups. And if it were in Sweden, I don't know how it would be, but Sweden is much larger than Lithuania, and Lithuania has this. It's like a blessing and a curse at the same time, because it's small. You know, everyone knows everyone, so it can be too small, but the size is also a plus in that case, that you know people that know other people that you can network with.
Martinas?
Yeah. I have to agree with this, with both. Well, all three, Rytis, Simonas, and Domas. I mean, we have people working not only from Lithuania, and we don't go to the office pretty much. Same as with the Domas, it's really hard to say how it would be if we were settled in Canada or somewhere else where AI and startups are going really, really strong as well. So it's a double-edged sword. You might get so there are some pluses and minuses, and it's tough to say. I'm happy that we're here. People are really good. Startup community is amazing. More and more unicorns are growing in Lithuania, or on a good track to become one. So it's nice to see. It's inspirational, to say the least, to see other successes and to learn from them, and kind of like to be a part of this very nice growing community. So personally, I'm just happy to be here.
Nice. So I feel quite right that I did the right thing to call this discussion, because it was my idea to call this discussion creative industries. Are we happy yet? And Martina just said, I am happy. And I had this feeling, since I'm also a part of the creative industry community here. So I think it's one of the, because we have other topics, agrotech and education in Lithuania, which I think are a little bit more dramatic maybe, and in creative industries. So the question is, are we happy yet? Do you feel happy about the way your career goes and the way the community here works? And maybe you see some potential in something, or you would say that some things could be done better by the community or by the government. I don't know, it's up to you. So are you happy, and what could be done better? The question for you. Rytis, I see your...
Yeah. So first, I think I will speak for everybody as well. We have big taxation problem for young companies. So our salaries, we pay quite a lot of taxes in comparison for, let's say, American scenarios. So there should be some more incentives, but again, we are limited on budgets. We are a small country, So maybe more dedicated programs could be allocated, especially at creative industries, because right now we are participating in a general pool tied to smart specialization areas. We want to get funding through MITA, through, let's say, Intellectus projects, and so on. So the industry as such is quite neglected, but I know efforts are being made, and thanks to Ministry of Economy, guys working there. I know they know the problem and doing the best.
Yeah, thank you, Rytis. Thank you for sharing. What about others? What do you think? Are we happy yet? And is there anything we could do better, or is there any potential that we are not using at the moment here in Lithuania?
Yeah, I'll try to comment on that. We are very happy as a team. We are not a very big company, but we are a very old company. It's 15 years old company almost. And we don't have such issues, maybe with tax problems and such. But I think we see a really good movement into talent sphere. Talent pool is finally we see investment in talent pool for artificial intelligence programs, and just they are appearing, and I'm really happy to see that we are and this is something that we are, as I said, we already have very strong design community in Lithuania, and it's very easy to tap into that. And I think a lot of startups are just getting a lot of free value in Lithuania because of very strong design community and strong branding and just creative talents here. And the engineering talent is it was, is, and it will be a big problem for creative industries in AI. And but I see positive movement here, and very happy with that. Hopefully, it will bring interesting things in the future. So
yeah, we definitely have talents. They bring they often bring some awards, so some prizes from competitions worldwide in the creative field, advertising, and so on. So definitely. Okay, nice to be optimistic. Domas, what do you think?
Yeah, I would just like to add something that someone has said. Lithuania is a really good sandbox to check ideas and see if the ideas can scale, because we know the market really well, because we were born here and we grew up here. So it's easier to check in Lithuania the ideas, to A/B test and so on, you know, just to see what works. And then when porting the product over to other markets like the US or something else, it's much easier because you then have the information.
Yeah. Okay. Martinez, what about you? Are you happy? You started with being happy, but is there any potential that you see Lithuania as a small country, as Europe's best kept secret, as we like to say, and it is being promoted with this slogan? Is there anything we could do better, you think? I don't know.
I mean, I already told I'm happy, right? So I'm not gonna expand on this one. Of course, there is something that could be done better. There's always something that we could do better as a team, as a country, as a government, and and obviously what Rytis mentioned, like taxation. I know, like for Simonas, maybe it's not such a big deal, but for small startups, it is a big deal, and going from the point of view that we want to grow this community, we want even more startups to bring in, which at the end of the day would bring the economy of Lithuania as well. Maybe we could have exemptions in, like, for startups for, like, first 2 to 3 years or something like that, something like incentives. So why people started to go to Silicon Valley, because of the tax haven, right, for new corporations. So back in the day, so why we can't be Silicon Valley of Europe and say, like, okay, you come here, you do your business over here, if you stay with us, we won't tax you for for X amount of months or years or something like that. I mean, to kind of to bring that to grow even bigger our community and to bring even more good minds like so this would be my 2 cents on what could be done and how we can grow even bigger in this area.
Ritas is agreeing.
Yeah, if I may add, I would like also speak a little bit about education, especially middle schools, early education, kindergarten. Now we are starting to talk about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and maths, but we also need to add A to it, the newer model STEAM, where A is for arts. So the creativity, maths go well with creativity, technology go well with arts, and so on. And it's really sad to see still year after year that lots of students enroll into popular subjects in social and humanitarian sciences. And we know for sure that there is no market for 3,000 graduates or more every year in these areas. While in IT sector, in AI, in creative industries, there's a huge amount. We need people. So come on, education is the main problem. And at school, last years of school, or maybe even starting with kindergarten. Again, we have silly concepts that AI or maths or whatever is not for girls. This is completely nonsense. Girls can even do better than guys, and I know quite a few that are better than me, for example. So, yeah, we need to move from our old hierarchical educational systems, break the concepts, and so on. So, I'm not saying adapt Sweden or Finland model because the mentality is different here, but we should refocus our thinking. That's what I'm saying. In school, in kindergarten. Thanks.
I think we have a really I think we just have a really uneven educational system. If you grew up in like a larger city in Vilnius or Kaunas, you can have access to really great schools. But if you grow up in some like rural area, it's really hard to get access to good teachers. So yeah, I think that's one of the main problems.
I would like to add just one point to Rita, is that I fully agree on the education side, and I encourage our startup culture to invest into education and the young generation. There is lots of non-government projects which I'm proud to take part of it. So there was a STEM project for Kompiuteriukai Lietuvos vaikam. Excellent project, not only for city kids, but for provincial cities and so on. And there is Bit and Byte Academy. There is a lot of other projects which I'm not aware of. But I think this is very important for us working in creative industries. We have a lot of money. I would say that we have very good salaries, and we need to invest ourselves and not expect for someone to take care of that. And yeah, I'm really happy to spend our company resources in STEM education. This is really good field to spend your money on.
Thanks, Simon. It's really a great point, and we have great initiatives here in Lithuania. Kompiuteriukai vaikams, Women Go Tech, the other initiative to teach elementary school teachers how to teach IT skills and so on. So we do have, and it's nice to see that companies like Pixelmator and others are joining the initiative. And thank you, Ritas and Domas, for sharing the concern about the education and even the taxes thing. I think that's what we want to do here today, just to share the concerns, share the ideas. If we would like to get to this argument in more details, we would need someone from the governmental agencies, to counterattack us with the arguments. And I think they would have something to say, especially about taxes. They say, but it's already something. But so let's not go too deep to that. I'm just generally happy my work is often to point out problems and to discuss about that, but in this topic, in creative field topic, in creative industries topic, I think we can more or less, I guess we agree that there are things to be happy about, and that's nice. We Lithuanians don't do that often. Maybe let's be happy about something for a moment. So that's my roundup of this discussion. Hopefully you don't mind and you're not against it. So yeah, there are things that we can be happy about, and we definitely have some events happening about creative industries. So anyone has anything to add for those who are interested in I know, creative industries, trying to understand the vibe of it? Is there anything to add, or we are about to round it up? No,
I think we must end with a positive note. Exactly what you said. Typically, we focus only on pessimistic things and skip what's positive. So this time, we have great guys, we have great companies, and so on. We are getting better and better. So
nice.
The future is bright.
So yeah, we agreed. So that was a nice topic, nice naming of the discussion. Are we happy yet? We are kind of happy. There are things to work on, but we are kind of happy. So thank you very much, all of you again. This was Rytis Maskeliūnas, Martynas Bagdanskas, Simonas Bastys, Domas Weitmonas, and me, Lukas Keraitis. Just a short notification that we are still going to have 3 more events of Lithuania Goes AI. They might not be that optimistic. I don't know. On the 14th of this month, we are going to have Lithuania Goes AI Defense, Security, and Space. On the 21st, we are going to have the topic of agrotech. I'm very interested to hear more about it. And on 28th, we are going to discuss, have a topic of education and AI. So I think that's going to be maybe, I don't know. We'll see. No prejudices. So thank you everyone once again. All of you who've been watching, Daiva, Martynas, Domas, Matas, Mantas, Lodita, asking questions. Super nice to see you alive in the chat and lively. So thanks again. Thank you, Mita. Thank you everyone, and see you in the next Lithuania Goes AI event. See you guys. Have a good